today.
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself. I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, welcome on in, everybody. It is another edition of JJ and Alex right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are in the shadows of the everlasting Delta Center. From within the shadows of the...
A lot of shadows this time of year.
Listen.
And a little bit of a breeze. We are outdoors.
Yeah. We are outdoors.
And you can tell the seasons have changed.
I am... I'm interested to see. We're outside Delta Center because you got the Pacers, you got Jazz, Pacers tonight. Second night of a back-to-back. Last night it was the Timberwolves and the Jazz fall, and it wasn't ugly. The 40-point loss.
I liked what I saw from the Jazz
last
night. I did too.
The third quarter was nasty. It was
not
good.
This is the difference between a team like the Timberwolves that's been to the conference finals the last 2 years and the Jazz that are in a rebuild. That's the difference. The other team plays well for 4 quarters, and they typically win those games.
I want to say it was a 19-0 run to start the half for the. It
was rough.
It was, and so the Jazz didn't score for the first 6.5 minutes of the third quarter, and so, that wasn't the funnest third quarter I've sat through. But you know what they did? They fought themselves right back into it. They were down by as much as 22 at one point, and that ended up being a nice little something for this team to be able to hang their hat on a night where Ace Bailey gets his first start ever in the lineup for the Utah Jazz, and on a night where you got to see your old guys coming back to town, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, both those guys playing. I mean, obviously Rudy's going to play a bunch of minutes. Mike Conley had some nice minutes, and he was you know why he's on the floor for any team. He's like such a leader.
He's the best, I wish he would have been here longer.
The two official reviews that they had that were both overturned, by the way, in favor of the Timberwolves were both Mike Conley going, "Coach, run it back."
Yeah.
And it was like this. Finch, believe me, dude.
Yeah.
This is wrap it up. Let's take this thing home. And they did. So, man.
Yeah,
the Jazz
33-9, by the way, was that run to open the third quarter. 33-9.
It was not a great third quarter, but they made a game out of it in the fourth. And
but weren't you not entertained? You took the boys last night?
Took the kids, and I'll tell you, it was definitely a pleasant surprise in terms of Keontae George is the story of the season for this team.
Agree.
And I was pleasantly surprised by what Key's been doing, and he kept it going, and he's getting to that spot where guys, when they turn pro, turn a different corner, which is they make a lot fewer mistakes.
Yeah.
They don't look so sloppy.
More efficient.
And guess who's making mistakes and looking sloppy? Ace Bailey. But guess what? He's a rookie.
That's okay.
And, he threw down a massive...
I really enjoyed his mistakes last night. It was fun to watch.
He threw down a massive dunk there.
Over Anthony Edwards?
Toward the end of the game, just so that everybody could go,
stuff.
"Oh, yeah, there's a reason why you like this guy."
Isn't that what we want?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're looking
Absolutely.
for? We need, Jazz fans, you need hope.
Absolutely.
And Ace Bailey in his minutes last night and that dunk provided you some hope for the future.
So we'll see how this thing rolls out the rest of the way for this Jazz team. But tonight they're facing off against the Pacers, who are coming to town. The Pacers, of course, one of the better teams in the East last year. They're dinged up. Obviously, when you don't have Tyrese Halliburton for the year and you're starting to piecemeal, it feels a little bit like what Boston's doing too, where it's just like, hey, we got to kind of just see what's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
And this might not be our year. Maybe we all take the season off, but we'll see what the Pacers bring to Delta Center tonight. And the Jazz are going to be wearing the
inversion jersey.
The inversion jersey. The city edition, like downtown city edition, where it's and you know what? The weather's cooperating. Look at Mount Olympus over there. Got kind of a gray situation going on.
It's almost inversion season.
So here we
welcome
are.
It.
Well, the new jerseys will
By the
pop
way,
out.
Before we get to our next topic,
yes.
Any guess on what the Pacers record is without looking?
Let's say, oh boy, are they already going Tank City right now? I'm going to say they're a 4-7 team.
Not even close.
What is it?
1-9. 0-5 away from home. And still with all that, they are 2.5-point favorites tonight here in Utah.
No problem. I don't know, but did the odds makers?
Can the Jazz out-tank the Pacers tonight? Can't wait to find out.
Did the odds makers take into account that the Jazz are playing in the new City Edition inversion jerseys?
Well, they saw that Kevin Love was out, so.
Yeah, Kevin Love is
for rest.
He's still an interesting, when you watch him play and you're like, that's why you got to have guys like this on the team. And then at the same time, you're also like, oh, man. Boy, that guy played different, didn't he, back in the day?
Yep.
And, I think he's a good addition to this team.
100%.
You need to have a guy like that on the floor. And when Lauri Markkanen steps off the floor and you have, like, when they switch people out and, they have they'll have Speed come in. They'll have Collier come in. And they have these guys come in and onto the floor. At one point they go, Will Hardy blows the horn, and calls for substitutes. Filipowski walks on the floor. Collier walks on the floor. Ace Bailey walks on the floor. And Speed McCallum walks on the floor. And I went, well, we're all going to grow up pretty quick, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
then there's Kevin Love out there. Kevin's kids.
And that's the thing is, like, Kevin would stand
Kevin Love out there with a bunch of 20-something lottery picks.
It's great. It's great. And he's got the same beard that I do, just salt and pepper. Love to see that guy out on the court. So
he's a future Hall of Famer. It's good to have him here.
We have tons to get through today. It's a massive day, of course, across the world of college football because it's another week of the college football playoff. It's going to be rolled out in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll bring that to you as soon as it's happening. We'll get to watch it right along with you. You'll get to hear it as we announce as those things go on. So JJ and I are going to put together the best estimation that we have of what a college football playoff ranking for this week number 2, should look like. So let's do our best guesses here to see how the Big 12 gets slided, to see what the ACC does in terms of a slide for them. So let's get things kicked off here officially. It is The Cut, top of the program, JJ and Alex. Let's do it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. Trajan Wealth is TRAJAN, wealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. Yes, you got look at how awesome our lives are. You've got Jazz Pacers at Delta Center tonight. Tomorrow night, Mammoth Sabres. And you're hoping that team can get back on track here with a home game. And by the way, guess who was sitting courtside last night? Old Bear Tourney. I feel like courtside seats for Bear, like you could tell he didn't feel comfortable. He was like, this is not my he's like, I like this, but at the same time, you know what he was doing? He can't help but just be Bear over in that corner over there. He had his arms folded and just a stern look. It looked like he enjoyed himself a little bit.
I get it because you know what? I have this problem when I go to sporting events and I'm not at work.
Oh.
I can't cheer.
No cheering. Of course.
I don't know how.
No,
I forgot.
It's been beaten out of us,
yeah.
JJ. Like we've watched
20 years of not being allowed to cheer. I don't know how to do it anymore.
I know. So Bear goes out there, does the same thing. I think he knows people have eyes on him and he was down there. I think there were a handful of players with him, and so good to see them out. But the Mammoth and Sabres tomorrow night here at Delta Center. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about what this college football playoff and the next week of rankings that are going to roll out here in the next hour and a half or so are going to look like. So, per your view, what do you think the biggest shakeup is going to be in the college football playoff rankings this week? Because there were enough teams that lost out, and I don't know. Do we need to do a full top 25? Do we need to do the top 15 maybe?
Because the 15 involves local teams, let's keep it to 15.
Okay.
And I think that's the most important because, honestly, does anybody outside of the 15 have a legitimate chance? I mean, they would have to be a massive move up. Like Pittsburgh beating Notre Dame and winning the ACC title is probably their only chance, right?
Yeah.
Even Georgia Tech at this point, unless whoever wins the ACC championship game is going to go to the playoff. That's it.
What I'm looking forward to is the things I'm going to keep my eye on are where will Texas Tech go from where they were, because of all the upsets that happened over the weekend, it was a tough one because nobody moved in front of them.
Yeah.
And so Indiana, who was at risk of losing to Penn State, they don't get shaken up. You have all these other teams who are just winning in front of them, and so I think Texas Tech probably stays at that 7 spot. So can we do you think that any of these things are going to change? Tell me if you want to change anything.
Yeah.
Ohio State 1. Does Indiana stay 2.
No.
Oh, interesting. See, I thought the same
Texas A&M
thing.
is going to move up,
I
and
thought so
Texas
too.
A&M will be number 2 tonight because Indiana had a close call against Penn State, and Penn State does not have a win in Big Ten play.
0-6.
And the committee, if they are true to their word,
they'll say it
based on what things look like in the week. And, of course, Texas A&M boat race Missouri on the road 38-17. Texas A&M is also undefeated in the SEC. Sorry, Indiana. Texas A&M is moving up to 2 tonight. Indiana will drop to number 3.
I don't hate that pick. I'll go right along with you. So let's go Ohio State 1, Texas A&M 2. Indiana does do enough, I think, to stay ahead of, obviously, the one-loss Alabama or Georgia, depending on who you may want to put there, except for Georgia lost to Alabama, right? So they have that head-to-head that they lost. So I'm going to go Indiana 3. Alabama's going to be our 4th team in this week.
Yes.
Do we change that at all?
Because of their win over Georgia head-to-head, they'll stay there.
Georgia 5. Did Texas Tech do enough by beating a number 7th ranked BYU team in the college football playoff to jump over an Ole Miss?
In my opinion, yes, but I think the committee is going to give the nod to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to stay put, although Ole Miss played the Citadel this week, and what is Ole Miss's best win is Oklahoma.
That's what I was saying is I think that, yeah.
I mean, they beat LSU when they were ranked, but we all know where LSU is now. Oklahoma's their best win. Texas Tech's best win is BYU and Utah, who are in the top 13.
Right. And guess who Ole Miss's only losses to? The team that's right in front of them in the
exactly.
in the playoff
I don't
right now,
think that
Georgia.
they're going to punish Ole Miss. Ole Miss will stay at 6, although I do think Texas Tech belongs at number 6 this week.
Now, here's where it gets a little bit shaky, and BYU losing is the only top 10 shakeup from a loss perspective that you had this week.
Yes.
And so Texas Tech probably moves up to that 7 spot. Oregon goes from 9 to 8. They get the win, of course, and it wasn't super impressive, but guess what? It helped them that Iowa was 20th in the college football playoff.
They're not going to get punished for that. They're going to move up. They're going to move up a spot.
So they go to 8, and then here's where it gets freaking stupid. Here's my question for you.
Because you know what's going to happen.
Notre Dame, who was ranked 10th last week, will likely move up to 9, just by the sake
Correct.
of them being alive
a
and breathing.
6 and a 7-2 Notre Dame.
7-2 Notre Dame,
who beat Navy, who had been ranked 49-10. They will move up a spot.
Okay,
ahead of a one-loss team.
Here's where it gets even more nasty for you as somebody watching the Big 12 here locally. And this is where I think it comes into play. A 2-loss Texas team and a 2-loss Oklahoma team will likely be the teams that jump over BYU in the standings. And I've got Texas 10 because they beat Oklahoma in the head-to-head, and Oklahoma 11, both with 2 losses, both not necessarily looking fantastic in those 2 losses. Obviously, Texas's losses are a big deal because they lost to who? Ohio State, and then their other loss was to
Oklahoma.
No, they beat Oklahoma. Texas beat.
Oh, sorry,
Texas
you're
beat
right. I apologize. That's
it was
the other way around. Florida.
It was to Florida. A bad loss to Florida.
Yes, which they should be punished for.
But is that punishing them when they're 10th and at 7-2, and at Oklahoma at 7-2 in this ranking? Because then I've got BYU at 12, and the only reason I've got BYU at 12 is because I've got Utah at 13, and I don't think they can fall past Utah after their one loss coming to a Texas Tech team.
I agree. I think 12 is the backstop for BYU, and unfortunately, I think that's where the committee's going to put them tonight. That would be a 5-spot drop. What happened last year after they lost to Kansas?
Oh, they went. They tumbled pretty far, but it was also one loss, and so I think they did the same thing where they went to like a 12 or a 13 right off the bat. They may have even just been 13, but they went backward by 6 or 7 spots, and then they lost the week after that to Arizona State, and so it was essentially over for them. But you'd be able to tell me
dropped from 6 to 14.
They dropped 8 spots with the one loss. Now, guess what? It was against a Kansas team that had a losing record, right?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of these Big 12 teams fell to Kansas at the end of the year. They kind of ruined a lot of people's seasons. But regardless, they look at those things. They look at moments. And the thing that made everybody – that very first set of rankings where BYU – they were already behind SMU in that ranking. Do you remember this? SMU
Correct.
was 9-1. BYU was 9-1,
Yep.
and they were 13 SMU, 14 BYU, and everybody already went, hold on a minute, what's going on here?
Uh-huh.
And the fix was in early
100%.
on this college football playoff. So I don't know if
see
that's
it
going to
happening
happen again.
In that way, the committee doesn't have to. I don't know. Obviously, BYU would still be alive, but they want to get Texas and Notre Dame up in that top. I swear they do.
Okay, so
They want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
we still haven't talked about an ACC team. And I think that I know that the odds-on favorite for a lot of people are that Vanderbilt, because they won in overtime and they got the win, they're just going to move up in the rankings up to 14. And I don't think that's the case. I think that Georgia Tech, as the top ACC team with only one loss, will jump Vanderbilt. I think.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I think.
No, I think Vanderbilt moves up to 14.
You think they're going to be 14?
100%.
I wish they weren't, because
Another SEC team in the mix.
So Vandy is not totally out of it, but I think that the committee will look and say, hey, you had a bye, that's fine. But I think Vanderbilt, playing Auburn, that just fired their coach, and they go to overtime, and the defense, now here's the other thing, the defense wasn't particularly good, and the committee likes defenses. They like really strong defenses, and that Vanderbilt team doesn't necessarily have the strongest of defense, and they go to overtime at 38-38, and then they end up having that one. I think Georgia Tech may sneak ahead of them, because I think the committee may go, look, we've only got one we've only got one team in the top 15 for the ACC. I can see Georgia Tech being ahead of Vanderbilt. You have Vanderbilt ahead of Georgia Tech, and that's our top 15.
I think they've already made their – I think the committee built this the way they did in the initial rankings.
No, they tear it down every week. Remember, JJ? They tear it down every week.
Right.
That's what they said. Come on.
Well, they've already got Vanderbilt ahead of Georgia Tech, and what happened this week? Vanderbilt beat Auburn. Georgia Tech didn't play anybody, and Georgia Tech lost last time they were out there. Miami beat Syracuse. What would he do? I don't think that – and USC beat Northwestern. I don't think USC did anything. USC is going to move up. So Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, Miami, USC will all move up, and Vanderbilt will be 14, and then the rest of that order. Virginia, Louisville will drop out. They might drop out entirely, to be honest.
So remember when Tennessee lost 3 games this year, and they were at 25?
Yeah.
So there was enough movement in the teens to have people kind of look around and say, what's going on here? You're going to watch Tennessee go up to probably 20 or 21 this week. You're going to see also –
they'll be right behind USC.
You're going to see another 3-loss team in Iowa probably stay in the college football playoff rankings, because they lost to
but they'll get leapfrogged by Tennessee.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
and
for
Michigan.
Sure. Now, I do think Cincinnati's going to find its way in the college football playoff ranking this week.
They should.
And I think I think what it's going to be is an oversight from the playoff committee last week going, oh, we forgot about that 2-loss Big 12 team who has lost to who? Nebraska early in the season on a neutral site that was, basically a home game for Nebraska. And then they lost to a Utah team that the committee, by their own admission, are like, we like what Utah's doing right now, and they should. So you're not supposed to ding those teams. They have been absolutely brilliant in other games prior to the Utah game this year.
Yeah.
And a slow start against Nebraska, because they had one play that if they could have gotten that one interception back from Baron Morton, they would have probably been – no, I'm saying the wrong guy. Brendan Sorsby. Yeah. Then they would have been they probably would have been a lot higher. So here are the teams, if you are a Utah or BYU fan, that you need to be wary of, okay? The ones that are already in front of you, Texas and Oklahoma, you can't do anything about that. You know why? Because this is set up for people like Texas and Oklahoma with 2 losses. The good news is this. They have extremely difficult roads ahead of them. And the real problem is can you continue to win? Because if they lose, a 3-loss Texas team, if they lose, or if a 3-loss Oklahoma team loses, they'll ding them. It won't be by much.
Right.
They might go right behind a Utah in this type of a ranking. They might be just ahead. They might get leapfrogged by a team like Vanderbilt, but not in Texas's case, because they beat Vanderbilt in the head-to-head, and they want to pretend like that 3rd loss is actually just 2 losses, right? Yeah. Because the first one was the number 1 team in the country.
Right.
And it was the first week of the season. So,
but that Florida loss,
the ones, it's awful. The ones in front of them, you can't do anything about. The ones who deserve to be there, your Texas Techs, your Oregons, until further notice, they don't have other losses. They're a one-loss team, and they're better than you on paper. But I'm not convinced that Notre Dame is better than even Utah or BYU. I'm not convinced that Texas is better than BYU or Utah. Wow. You want me to start singing, Connor? I thought maybe we were going to fire up the karaoke machine. Dadgum. I mean, if you bring music, I'll sing. You know how I am. So regardless, Texas and Oklahoma are sitting there in front, and that's by design. They want to make sure that they can have them there because they are going to be set up to lose. Even if they lose a game, that they could be right there to be able to move up again.
The team to watch behind Utah and that could make a big jump.
Vandy.
USC.
Oh, and they're pretty far down.
They play
right
Iowa
now.
and they play Oregon. If they win those 2 games, you could see them jump, and then they end the season with UCLA.
I think the good news is I don't think they're good enough to beat either of those teams.
I don't think so either.
They could absolutely take 4 losses.
But a 10-2 USC team,
yeah,
that's a team that is going to get consideration.
So
just like Utah would be 10-2.
There's our top 15. Either Vanderbilt or Georgia Tech. That's interchangeable between you and I. And then the rest were kind of in did we agree on everything else?
I think BYU should not fall that far. I think BYU's backstop should be 9, but I think they'll fall to 12.
Are you kidding? Yeah. They're going to go to 12.
You lost on the road to Texas Tech, who's a juggernaut, who's going to be ranked 6th. Whoopity-doo. Most teams in this, even some of the top 5 teams would lose at Texas Tech.
If Texas was ranked 7th and they lost to the 8th-ranked team, where would they go? Probably 10.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That's where they'd end up.
Yeah.
But BYU did it, and people kind of go,
on the road, banged up. I mean, come on. I think BYU will be judged harshly.
They'll say you were down 26-0 going into the fourth quarter.
Right. And your offense is bad. The metrics say your offense isn't very good.
So those are going to be all the arguments I think that you'll see. So, all right. I actually want to see how wrong we are. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
we sort of
want to be wrong on BYU.
We went a little bit chalk on this because we know how the committee likes to play.
The Texas A&M leap is,
that's not too crazy. But
no,
I think that,
it is a bold.
It's a move to tell Indiana, thanks for winning.
As dominant as Indiana has been all year.
Yeah.
To ding them for losing at Penn State.
Right. For winning at Penn State.
I mean, sorry, but almost losing.
Right. It was a close game.
They needed a miracle catch, basically.
It is
to
funny
win
to
that
think.
game.
So you're going to say, yeah, but you didn't win that game handily. So those are things that the committee take into account.
Right.
So bad losses versus good losses, those are supposed to be things that come up. So is it going to be a good enough loss for BYU to not have to fall that far behind? Do you feel comfortable putting a Notre Dame team ahead of those?
The committee did this to BYU last year. They're going to do it to BYU again.
All right. Yeah, I don't doubt it. So there you go.
And it sucks.
We will take our first break of the day. We'll come back. We've got sound fresh from the University of Utah and the conversations, of course, with some of the players. We've got Devon Dampier. We've got Wayshawn Parker getting ready for the rest of their season that is, frankly, right in front of them. And all they can do is keep winning, which I think they'll do, and that's all you can ask them to do. But they're in a really good spot, I think, to be able to just keep grabbing the attention of the College Football Playoff Committee and to hang their hat on losses to Texas Tech and BYU and say, yeah, and then since then we've been blowing everybody out of the water. And no one wants to play us right now. I mean, honestly, that would be a great argument for them. And could they be a team that would be possible second or third ad for the Big 12 into the College Football Playoff? We'll take a break. We'll come back. We are live outside Delta Center. It's the Jazz and the Pacers tonight. Everybody's rolling out the city jerseys this week. If you're at home, you're playing in those city jerseys. Everybody's seeing them across the league, including the Utah Jazz. Those went on sale officially today at the team store. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We got more to go. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars return home for a battle against TCU. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on the program, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us on a game day. We're outside Delta Center. Jazz Pacers tonight, 7 o'clock tip-off. They got the new jerseys they're going to roll out, and so we're there. Oh, we got so JJ and I rolled out our predictions. I'm interested to see how they do this thing tonight with the college football playoff rankings. But at 5 o'clock,
tell us a lot about what they think of BYU.
Yeah, and you know what is great, I think, honestly, so Utah needs BYU to beat Cincinnati, right?
Oh, 100%.
And they need them to just keep winning. and it's a weird place to be.
Well, at this point, it's tricky because – are you talking about to get to the Big 12 championship game?
Not necessarily. That's why I think it's interesting, because I think if –
So there's two different point of views here. Because if you're a Utah fan and you've given up hope of going to the Big 12 championship game, you want BYU and Texas Tech as high as possible in that college football playoff ranking, because those are your only losses.
Yes.
And everything else looks quality. That pushes you up and could get 3 teams in. If BYU goes on a slide, yeah, you may get in the Big 12 championship game, but that doesn't. But BYU would have to go on a slide. Like they'd have to lose 2 more games.
Yeah, and I think that.
So, and then that weakens your resume for the college football playoff.
Yes.
And then it's all for broke in the Big 12 championship game against the Texas Tech team that you already lost too big.
Conversely, your Utah win, you're hanging your hat on that thing if they keep rolling. And so Utah or BYU fans need Utah to keep rolling. They've already played each other, so there's no point of doing the whole hate those guys. Look, you like each other right now. You better figure it out.
You know.
I know. I'm asking the impossible, but what I'm saying is they definitely need each other right now.
It's totally the truth that BYU and Utah both need each other to win out.
I think Utah could be one of these teams that just look. If they're at 13 again tonight, and they had a bye, I could see them not moving up. I would hate to see them move down for no reason. Just for the sake of the committee being able to put BYU even further down as well.
Here's the truth. I know we're going to get to the Utes here shortly, but to your point, essentially what the playoff is now, because the group of 5 is going to get one and the ACC is going to get one. So essentially what you're looking at is who are the top 10 teams in the country.
Yeah.
Do you believe BYU and or Utah are top 10 teams? Do you believe that? And that's the question you have to ask yourself when it comes to the college football playoff, because that's what it's going to be. Yeah. The top 10 teams in the country are going to get in. And then the addition of the ACC and the group of 5 champions. That's what it's going to be.
Like just, hey, ACC, you had a great run. Last year was fun to get a couple teams in.
I'm telling you, if you're a BYU and a Utah fan, you're cheering for Pitt to beat Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Which is very possible. Pitt's a good football team now in the top 25. That's something to watch. And then, of course, Texas needs to lose those big games. An 8-4 Texas, that's what you want.
Hey, before we fire up and you can listen to some audio here of Devon Dampier and Wayshawn Parker, let's get to giving away some tickets here. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Caller number 12 right now is going to get tickets to the Jazz Hawks coming up on Thursday at Delta Center. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-9663 all season long. We're giving away tickets to the Utah Jazz, and we want to be able to have you and somebody you love come hang out at Delta Center, watch these games, and watch this fun young team here. It's really fun to be a part of. It's really cool to watch. So call in number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. for the Jazz Hawks on Thursday. All right, Devon Dampier, the quarterback for the Utes, sitting down for media availability. Here's what he had to say about getting ready for this Baylor team this week. All eyes on what they can do in Waco.
Man, I feel good. We got the good time off. Body gets to heal. But yeah, I'm excited to be back with my guys. Back to the grind. We know we got to win out from here to accomplish our goals. So excited to be back for sure.
What was your reaction to that initial college football ranking?
That's what y'all doing? It's hard to lock in. Y'all all shooting webs at me, very, very fortunate. I'm very happy that, we got the ranking we did. Just to be able to get in through the championship or just through, the rankings. It gives us a great chance to get in there. That's our goal. So I'm very happy that that's doable for us.
What was the message throughout the bye week in terms of getting set for these final 3 games?
Yeah, enjoy this time off, but get healthy. But we got to win out. Simple as that. 1 week at a time, and that's the message. We go against Baylor this week. That's all our focus is on.
Dev, what did you do during the bye week to just kind of refresh? You go see family? Walk me through that.
Yeah, I went to Arizona, got to be with my family, my mom and dad. Those are 2 important people to me. My brother was there as well, so just to be back with them, just clears my mind from football, allows me to remember, I'm a human being again, and back to the grind.
Devon, what are your thoughts on the Baylor defense?
I think they're talented. I think they're a talented group. They've played very well against other people as well. So just the way we're going to attack them in schemes like that, I think it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Kyle talked about leadership as how he would define just the best trait of this team. Obviously, you've been a big part of that. What does from day one to now sort of look like in that process of just having guys together, building a brotherhood, and all of that?
Yeah, I think something significant about all us leaders on our team, who was voted leaders, or our captains, we earned that respect from the beginning. Not only verbally, but obviously physically. We've shown that since day one. So when your team follows along, that shows self-leadership too. It takes each individual to tell themselves to follow lead. And, I think we're just at a point where everyone's starting to play for each other. It's more than just everyone's playing single-handedly. Everyone's playing for each other, and, that tends to make our team, better, elevated.
You've led one of the top offenses in the country this season. What's going to be the key to kind of make that last evolution to finish the season out?
Yeah, just keep being efficient. I think that's one of the biggest things we do. We tend to stay on the field. We get our third downs. Normally get our fourth downs when we go for them. So, just keep that going. I think that's honestly what's keep moving the sticks for us, and that's what gets us in the end zone.
Devon, what has Daniel Bray meant to this offense now that he's been able to be a part of it?
Yeah, such a huge piece. Very happy how he came out. For a freshman to have that impact as soon as he got out there, and as fast as he did, he's already a star back there. So huge kudos to him. But that just goes to the whole offense. I think we work in a way where the defense has to respect us in all ways, and Bray's able to take advantage of that when he gets the ball in his hands.
Man, that guy's got a smile on his face all the time, doesn't he?
Yeah, you get why his teammates love him, his coaches love him. He's an infectious personality.
No one's going to
harass.
Positive. No one's going to harass
happy.
you during an interview if they don't like you.
Oh no, he's great. He really is. And when healthy, he's a great quarterback. There's no doubt about it.
So
he's been great for the University of Utah.
Somebody who's turned a massive corner too, it has been. I thought you made a brilliant point when we were talking about this, and we talked about it with Sly too, about how when other guys in front of you are playing really well, like Wayshawn Parker underperformed, and he didn't practice well even. Like apparently, according to a lot of folks, they're like, yeah, he's in practice, he's fine, But then he turns it on during the game. But he hadn't really turned it on during games as much, right? And so I think what you saw was a guy who found himself a little bit over the past few weeks and has become a really, really key part of this offense. And look, part of the reason was because, look, Daniel Bray, you can't ignore what he's been doing, right? And so if you're a running
all those
back,
guys were playing. They had several guys in the backfield that were, doing well and getting chances.
Yeah. But if you're watching Daniel Bray,
even Andrews before he got hurt playing the tight end would get some direct snaps and getting some of those type.
And they go, hey, look, what about this guy who's getting all these touches? He has a 100-yard game against BYU. That became a big part of what they turned that jet sweep into. They went full Aaron Roderick on the jet sweep over the next few weeks after that because it was absolutely effective.
Nakari Rogers leads the team in rushing touchdowns with 8.
Crazy. So here's Wayshawn Parker talking a little bit about what his role has now turned into with this and what he's done to kind of make that turn and to become that key guy running the football for Utah.
Just my mindset. I mean, this year hasn't been pretty. I haven't touched 100. So them last 2 games that I touched 100 in, I challenged myself really hard that I got to do it.
You've had kind of a lighter workload earlier in the season. How are you feeling now that we've kind of hit the final 3 games?
I feel great. I mean, sadly that my sophomore year is coming up. But, yeah, I feel great. I feel that we're doing a great job as a team, and that we're going to go handle business these next 3 weeks.
How has it helped you to kind of have a split load in the season early on, and now that you're kind of taking on? Did that help you at all, just in terms of fresh legs and all of that?
I mean, I know the coaches had it planned. Not still doing his thing. The one thing that I would say is that both of us are still challenging each other, no matter what. No matter who gets the carries that game, we're still going to be like, okay, let's go out there, let's get 100. Like, let's both go do it. If not, one of us going to do it for sure.
What's Daniel Bray done to kind of keep the run game, unique and open things up for you even?
Oh, he's been doing a great job. I mean, all them flops, all the sweeps, he's handling it. I mean, coming in as a freshman, knowing what he's doing, and doing what he's doing to the best, it's opened up the game for sure. I mean, when he gets that ball, he's going to make it happen. That's why they're afraid of him and the running backs in the back.
The next 3 games, the run defenses aren't the best in the Big 12. How does that change your approach, knowing that you guys might be able to get it done pretty easily on the ground?
I mean, that's not changing my approach to anything. I mean, these teams can come out here and stop us, but we can also run over them. So our mindset's still going to be the same as it was week 1. Go out there and ball out, play the game. I mean, let the game come to us and be hungry always.
You guys have a chance as a team to potentially get the most rushing yards of all time in program history. What does that mean to you guys to just know that you're going to continue to do this and you're going to kind of force that on people?
I mean, it's great. Not really. I didn't know that. But, yeah, it's great having that feeling that we can beat a record. It's always going to be great, but like I said before, we just hungry, so we trying to make it to the next level. This level is just like a little pit stop. Let's go to the next level.
You guys were ranked 13 in the initial college football playoff ranking. You talk about being hungry. Does seeing that you guys are so close to being at an at-large, does that motivate you guys even more?
I mean, seeing that we was ranked before and then we dropped down, so it just really says rank ain't anything. I mean, it's lovely that we're number 13, but I want to be higher. Like, I want to be number 1. So we're going to throw that to the side, like act like it's not there. Let's act like we're not ranked, and we want to be underdogs.
We want to be underdogs. That's the chip on the shoulder. Even if everybody knows right now, man, Utah might be the toughest team in this conference to face off against. Texas Tech and Utah look like those teams right now. BYU licking their wounds, trying to figure out how to get back to that. You do have to just make yourself – you got to make yourself be seen again. And Utah's being seen the last few weeks because of how much they're putting it on these other teams and how easy they're making it look on both sides of the ball, JJ.
Yeah, and Wayshawn Parker's turned a corner since we're on the topic of Wayshawn. His last 2 games, 10 carries, 145 yards and a touchdown against Colorado. Cincinnati, 17 carries, 104 yards and a touchdown against Cincinnati. And Coach Whittingham mentioned that this week he's separating himself at that position where they have a lot of depth, and they've had a lot. Nakari Rogers has been great. You mentioned Daniel Bray coming on, and obviously Devon Dampier and Bert Ficklin have had their share of runs as well. But there were counting 4 games this year where Wayshawn Parker did not reach double figures in carries.
Yeah.
And coming in, we're like, this guy could be a 1,000-yard rusher. And it got to the point where after the BYU game when he runs for 23 yards, you're like, I don't know, is this really working out the way Utah and Wayshawn hoped it would? And then, boom, all of a sudden he turns the corner. And now with 4 games left, obviously 3 regular season games and probably some form of bowl game and or playoff or whatever, he's at 607 right now. We mentioned before the season started, Utah needs a 1,000-yard back to reach their goals, and Wayshawn Parker, while he's been a little bit behind, has caught up in that pace, and it is possible if he averages 100 yards per game that he could reach that 1,000-yard plateau. So that's something to watch, and it feels to me like if he's going to be running the ball like that and be that explosive, that's only going to help Utah's chances of continuing this dominant run that they're on right now.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. We're outside Delta Center. Jazz versus Pacers tonight. Coming up right after our broadcast. We'll get you ready, get you on the started up with pregame, of course, right when our program ends, and then you're going to be able to get tip-off at 7 o'clock right here at Delta Center. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more. We have a Would You Rather around the corner next. Stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us. We are broadcasting outside Delta Center live right now. Jazz Pacers tonight. tomorrow it's going to be Mammoth v. Sabres, and so lots of action going on over here at Delta Center the next couple of days as your two local teams are going to be back-to-back nights. The Jazz, of course, are already back-to-back because they played last night, falling to the Minnesota Timberwolves right here in town. I'm trying to think about how I wanted to phrase this, JJ. So let me just ruminate on it for 1 second here while I tell you this. Win Ticket Wednesday, every Wednesday, on this very station. That's tomorrow. What do you have? You got a chance to win tickets to the Holiday Lights at Ballpark at America First Square. Brand new immersive holiday tradition opening up on November 14th. That's this week. So reserve your tickets at theballpark@afs.com. That's theballpark@afs.com. Listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day long tomorrow, and we'll hand out some tickets all day long. So the way I was trying to think about this was win a Big 12 championship and go on to the college football playoff. Obviously, if you win the Big 12 championship, that's the reward that you get.
Yep.
But you lose in the first round of the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Or you back in as a non-champion, get the at-large bid, and you win one quarterfinal game.
Win the one quarterfinal game.
What about being conference champion? That doesn't mean anything anymore?
Winning a college football playoff game, do you have any idea what that would do for either BYU or Utah? With recruiting, did Ohio State win the Big Ten championship last year?
I don't think they've
won it.
I don't think they've won it in years, it feels like.
Right.
But they
so
won the
Oregon did, and where'd that get them?
Yeah.
So that answers your question. Ohio State showed you last year how important it is to win playoff games. The other stuff doesn't really matter at this point.
Well, think about it.
Don't get me wrong. It would be amazing to win a Big 12 championship. But what's more important? Winning a playoff game, advancing in the playoffs, getting farther than any Big 12 team yet has done. That would be more important.
All right, I'm convinced. I'll take that action.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm convinced on it. I do think there's that part of you that kind of goes, yeah. And when you do go to the college football playoff and you lose, a la the way SMU did, or
Indiana
Clemson,
last year, how did that hurt Indiana last year? How did it hurt them? Look what they're at now.
Yeah, that's true.
The momentum they've built from that.
Just getting there.
One of the reasons why Notre Dame is getting so much of the benefit of the doubt with 2 losses is because they were in the national championship game last year.
So even just getting there and losing is better. Like
100%.
Obviously, if you're a conference
it's
champion,
like, would you rather win the NIT or lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament? You'd rather lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
I don't know. Although they don't play.
Nobody cares
they don't
if you
play
make the
Madison Square
NIT
Garden anymore, do they?
They do not.
They're
it's in Vegas.
From the Thomas and Mack Center in beautiful Las Vegas.
Yeah, playing in Vegas in April.
The NIT.
In a basketball tournament nobody cares
All right,
about.
We'll take a break. We've got more to go around the corner. Stay with us. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes hit the road to Waco for a showdown against Baylor. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Just watching an embarrassing moment out here. Some guys trying to put the ball in the hoop on our Papa shot. It's not working out. You guys got to redeem yourself here. You don't need to make a half-court Papa shot. Come on. You just got to get close. Come on. Welcome back to the program. Yes, we're outside Delta Center. Officially on sale today are the Jazz City Edition jerseys, the
immersion jerseys,
the inversion jerseys, or I've heard the 50 Shades of Gray jersey, just because there's a lot of gray, and it's different gradient.
Can you say that on the radio?
I think there are a lot of moms that just went, wait, hold on, what do you say? I'm headed down to Delta Center now. So there you go. Our program is always brought to you by this hour by the folks at the Doug Smith dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Check it out for yourself. Go see why everybody loves Doug, and nobody knows cars like Doug. So let's get you down there to see those guys if you need a car, brand new or used or otherwise, and they want to buy your used one. So let's get it going. Let's kick off the hour here. Pete Fiutak, College Football News. Love having Pete on the program here with us because it's one of those nights. We're going to talk about the College Football Playoff. We're going to talk about the slights that are going to happen tonight. We're going to talk about the teams that should and shouldn't be high up in the rankings, but we'll probably see them there anyway. Teams that aren't getting enough respect that we might see still get dissed along the way here. Let's kick things off with the cut. Let's do it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is What Made the Cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The College Football Playoff Rankings, Round 2, 2.0 of the year 2025, coming right at you tonight. And we're going to be able to, of course, watch this thing and tell you as they roll out live on the air in just about an hour what those rankings are looking like. Joining us on the program right now, you can find his byline at CollegeFootballNews.com. He is Pete Fiutak. Pete, what's going on, man?
You guys are ground zero for what might be the argument.
Oh, yeah.
Not tonight, because tonight doesn't matter. Because again, do you win your conference championship or do you get to 10-2 at least? The problem is if you're there, that Utah loss to BYU is just a killer.
Yep.
Especially since BYU didn't lose any other games yet.
Mm-hmm.
So if BYU doesn't lose the 2 more games this year, 10-2 Utah is not going anywhere. I mean, there's just too much traffic. And that's where everyone's going to start beefing about some of the Big 12 because you're going to have a 10-2 Notre Dame in. And the concern is you all really have to root hard for Miami to lose. Because if Miami wins and goes 10-2, South Florida is going to win the American. So Miami beat South Florida, beat Notre Dame. They're going to get in ahead of those two. Those other two are going to be in. And the Big 12 is going to be hosed with only its Big 12 champion getting in.
So, there's so much to dig into here, but I want to dig into Notre Dame real quick because I think that Notre Dame really matters to both BYU and Utah's chances. Is it just an assumption? Like Notre Dame, their schedule's not great. I know they started out with Miami and Texas A&M, and that's challenging, but they lost both of those games. Since then, their best wins over USC. They're not playing good teams week in and week out. Is that not taken into consideration, their schedule, or is it just Notre Dame, they won the national championship game last year, they must be good?
Well, they're beating their own by double digits to start. So, yes, you kind of blew off the USC win, which was by double digits, and there's a real solid chance that USC becomes the 3rd best team in the Big Ten. Because they've got some tough games ahead, but they beat Michigan pretty handily, and they're going to get Oregon coming up. So there's still a chance that they're the 3rd or 4th best team. So that's a pretty good win. And those 2 losses, this is where you have to nuance it because one was in the first game of the year, and it could have gone either way at the very end at Miami, and the second one was a thriller to Texas A&M. Notre Dame wins that if they could field the snap correctly. So there is something to that. They are that good. The schedule-wise, the argument I keep having with everyone is who has this great schedule that everyone keeps thinking? Because, for example, I don't think the SEC is all that great, but once you start getting all these ranked teams because they're big-name teams, it looks like, oh, wow, you beat Tennessee. Oh, you beat Missouri. Well, Missouri hasn't beaten a team that's going to play in a bowl game this year. So there's no one out there who really has this great, wow, schedule. Oh, my gosh. So you kind of do that with everybody's schedule at this point.
That's a great point. I agree with you. So what metrics should everybody be weighing out if because the conferences are so big you're not playing everybody and your schedules, everybody's suffering from that with their schedules. How should we measure these teams when it comes to the college football playoff rankings? What matters most?
By height? No, I'm sorry. You have to. You look at. There has to be some part of this thing here, and the committee actually did a pretty decent job the first time around. And there is some sort of an eye test to it, but then again, your eye test only depends on who you played. So if you're blowing out a bunch of teams, well, then it's kind of skewed. So you really do have to kind of look at, all right, if your schedule is not great, then you better be hammering teams. And that's still my argument for Indiana last year. It's like, oh, well, Indiana didn't have the schedule. Yeah, but they beat everyone 55-2. So you're doing what you're supposed to against the schedule you have. And, for example, last year, okay, beating Michigan and Washington wasn't as big a deal, but those were the 2 teams that played for the national championship the year before. So it's kind of hard to figure out. So it's a tough thing to do when it comes to schedule. But at the end of the day, again, Notre Dame lost really, really close to Miami and a Texas A&M team that's right now the best in the SEC, and whacked USC, and they're playing really, really well. So it's kind of hard to argue against Notre Dame.
Let me ask about, because we're seeing this like slow motion train wreck right in front of us. You said it, because like here in this market, you've got a couple of teams that are both looking at this thing going, how on earth can you find your way to at least be a part of the conversation? That was part of BYU's problem last year. They just weren't even talked about by the end of the year. And SMU got the nod instead of them. And in a head-to-head, of course, they beat SMU. And so everybody wondered, like, okay, why are they right in front of them? They have the exact same record, and all those things
and
came in.
BYU won in their building.
Yeah, and BYU beat them at their place. And everyone goes, yeah, but that was like 3 months ago. Like, I don't even remember that. It is weird because the schedule matters about when your losses come. But also, how is it that we're looking at this thing, and JJ and I have been doing this long enough, you've been doing this long enough to know that a 3-loss Texas team would probably get the nod over a 2-loss Big 12 team also. Why is that the case? Why is a 3-loss SEC team like a Texas or even an Oklahoma, because I think they're both going to lose a third game. They both got pretty tough schedules down the line. But then the rest of the way, like, we're just going to watch this thing get gamed for the SEC. I feel like we're jaded that way here.
You made that assumption, but I don't think either thing's. I don't think that's going to happen. Remember, actually, the team you're missing in last year's equation is Alabama, who did go 9-3, and actually should have technically been in. Because if you really do, remember how the College Football Playoff Committee does this? They go spot by spot. They argue about the number 25 team. Okay, that team's in. Then they argue about the 24 and 22 and 20 and 18, all the way up. So they have to argue team by team. It's like using the tiebreaker scenario for conferences over and over and over again. And if you did this last year, well, Alabama, yeah, they were awful against Oklahoma, a bad Oklahoma team late, but they did beat South Carolina, who did beat Clemson. There's no other factors involved here, by the way, who beat SMU. So Alabama should have been in over SMU, and they didn't do it. So, again, if the College Football Playoff Committee at the end of the day, they fall back on, did you get to 10-2? It's easier. And I don't think in your scenario, I don't think there's so many teams that are going to be available here. I don't think either 11-1 or actually 11-2. Let's say BYU goes to the Big 12 championship and loses. I think they're in before a 9-3 Texas is this year. Remember, Texas lost to Florida, so that's kind of the problem.
we do like to bring up that loss.
Maybe we're just watching ESPN too much.
Listen, the amount of times I've had to watch the 5 and 6
ESPN. Start there.
Oh, well, no, I got YouTube TV. I've taken a fast. That's for sure.
No, listen, you guys need that kind of a break. All right, all you people with your YouTube TVs. You need a break from those guys, because I'm telling you, it is funny to watch the mental gymnastics that have to happen for some of these teams that they're like, and I think that 3-loss Texas team has an edge over BYU if they get their second loss. You can't lose to Texas Tech twice. And
well, first of all, they haven't lost 3 games yet. The crazier, go the other way here. Texas only has 1 SEC loss. They play Alabama. If Texas beats Alabama and beats Texas A&M, they're in the SEC.
Then I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that.
For sure.
They'll have earned it. You're right.
And you're assuming that they're lost, but you have to remember there's a lot of traffic in the way here. You still got to come up with a third Big Ten team, and it might not happen. But Oregon's not playing great, but Oregon's going to have to get in probably, or USC's going to have to get in, or heaven forbid, if you want Michigan to lose again. By the way, because if Michigan does that again to Ohio State, Michigan's in the Big Ten championship, and they're automatically in the college football playoff. You also need these ACC teams to keep on losing. So the mental gymnastics you're talking about, yes. If you have a bunch of 10-2 SEC teams, yeah, they're going to be in before Big 12 teams. But 9-3, I don't think gets it done.
I want to get your thoughts on BYU. It's going to be interesting tonight to see what the committee does with them. How far do you think they should fall? How do you think the committee will move them down?
Again, remember how they do this. They slot teams in. I don't think they're going to fall terribly far, only because they beat Utah. So, you can't really bump Utah if you're not going to dog Utah too much, you're not going to push them down. Well, they still beat them. So how the committee does this when they go slot by slot, where they go, okay, we got to come up with 12th slot or 14th slot or whatever it's going to be. They're going to say, okay, is it BYU or Utah? Oh, BYU beat Utah. then one spot ahead, BYU. So BYU's not going to fall terribly far, but again, don't take too much into it because it's how you end up. It's do you get to the conference championship? Do you win it? And all that sort of thing. The real thing overall to watch is where do the ACC teams fall? Virginia, Louisville, because they beat a bunch of these teams here. They beat Louisville beat a Miami. Virginia did have some good wins on there. So Virginia beat Louisville. So and it's going to be interesting to see where they go, and because where they end up then matters for the metrics. The wild card to watch for tonight, where does James Madison go? Because if you look at how this is going to play out, the craziest scenario is that Duke right now has 4 losses. You look at the rest of their schedule, they get a Virginia team which might be out without their quarterback, North Carolina, which is certainly winnable, Wake Forest, who's good, but that's a home game, and that's winnable. If Duke wins its next 3 games, it's in the ACC championship, and if it wins that, it's probably your ACC champ's not in. You might be getting James Madison and an American champ getting in this thing. So there's still a lot of funky things at play here.
That's why we like it, the funky things. That's what you want. You want a little bit of just a little bit of the unexpected, but at the same time, all the teams that you look at, who are the ones that are like right now, though, and I know it is early, Pete, but who are the teams that you look at and just say, no, these teams are going to be here at the end of the year. These teams aren't just going to be in the college football playoff. They're going to be the ones in the semifinal or fighting for an actual national championship.
Honestly, go back. I think Notre Dame really is that good. I think that's the problem is like all these SEC teams, they're playing each other. So everyone thinks they're all great, but it's gotten somehow lost in the mix that Alabama needed a minor miracle to get by an awful South Carolina team. That could have very, very quickly, gone the other way, and we'd be having a very different conversation. I'm not sold that Georgia's all that great. I mean, they're beating all these other SEC teams, which is fine. So who is it? If you're not buying into Indiana, because they were shaky against Iowa, they were shaky against Penn State. They're not this be-all, end-all. And Ohio State, you can even look at them and do who did they beat? So it's kind of crazy in this. I'm really curious to see what Texas Tech would do on a bigger stage against one of these, Big Ten or SEC powerhouses. They've got the talent, but the problem is where the belief system lies. And the other part of this, I don't buy into any of these ACC teams. And here's your argument: the Big 12 is, I believe, 6-1 against the ACC. The ACC is just not very good, but again, Miami got that win over Notre Dame, and that means everything right now.
Let me throw this out for conversation. Texas Tech, their only loss this year was on the road without their starting quarterback, and it was a close loss at the end.
Yep.
Is Texas Tech one of those teams that could win this whole thing? Are they a top 5 team, or are they a contender?
It's not like
they've absolutely crushed. They crushed BYU and Utah. Crushed them.
Yeah, but that's fine. This isn't the NCAA basketball tournament. You're not going to get in this thing, get hot from 3, or have your and just automatically you're in the Final Four. Like, remember last year, Penn State caught the break where they got the kids table games where they got Boise State, they got SMU, so they got to the Final Four. So give them all credit. But this year, remember, they're not doing that. They're not seeded. They're not automatically going to put 4 conference champions in the top 4. Your top 4 is going to be Big Ten champion, SEC champion, Texas Tech, and probably Big Ten championship loser, and then the 5s for each. So that's a pretty strong top 4. So you could win a game, but think about it. If you're Texas Tech and you are, let's say, the 3rd seed in this, you're going to get maybe Notre Dame or Ole Miss or something like that in the second round. So let's say you get by that. Then all of a sudden, okay, you're in the mix for big things, but then you're going to get a superpower. You're going to get an Ohio State. You're going to get an Alabama. You're going to get a Georgia. So this is a tough road to get through to get to the national championship. It can be done, but you need the right path to happen here.
Pete Fiutak, you can find his byline at CollegeFootballNews.com and get your updates on anything college football related. Is there going to be a shock at all that we could be expecting at some point over the next little while. You brought up the scenario of like a couple of G5 teams or G6 or whatever we call them now. But what are some shocks maybe that the committee could say, oh, no, we were dead serious. We reseed everybody. We reset all the rankings every week, and then some team is maybe put a little bit higher or lower than you think they're going to be even today.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to my original scenario where Miami's going to hang around the 16, 17, 18, and Notre Dame's going to be 9. And at the very end, like you said it right on, they take these rankings, they throw them away, and they start from scratch. It's not like we're just going to pick up where we left off. So how this happens in the final rankings, they take all the different parts and then they put it all back together. If they're going to really do this, and they say, okay, well, we got to put in South Florida, so because they're the American Conference champion and we're going to put them ahead. They're ranked ahead of James Madison. Okay, so South Florida's in at the 12. We're going to put in 10-2 Notre Dame, and at that point, then they say, well, again, Miami just thunder dunked on South Florida and they beat Notre Dame. So again, the change in craziness could be Miami could just hover around the 15s and Notre Dame could end up being like 7, and then the last possible rankings. Then how that happened? Notre Dame goes from 7 to the 11th seed.
Okay, we're excited to see how this thing shakes out. We're about just over a half an hour away to be able to get that thing started up again for round 2 of the College Football Playoff Rankings and this year's edition of it. It's been interesting for us here locally. There's always somebody to talk about, and we'll see if the Big 12 can make kind of a move or if they're just going to be left watching to see the success of Texas Tech.
BYU just went out. BYU win your next few games, and you're in the Big 12 championship, and then beat Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship, and you control your own destiny here. So just go win all your games, and you'll be fine.
That's all you got to do. Just win all of them. Just win all the rest of them. You're fine. Pete, we appreciate it, man. Thanks again. We'll chat with you soon.
Later, guys.
There you go. Interesting scenarios. It's interesting to get a perspective from somebody, in the Midwest, who's kind of watching this thing and going, well, here's how I think it might shake out. And maybe it's not as dire as you think it's going to be. And it's maybe not as, There's
just a lack of trust because of what happened last year with
You've
BYU.
been hurt before, JJ. Who hurt you?
No, he's hurt
Who hurt
me.
you last year?
I've just seen the trend is unless you're in the SEC or the Big Ten, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt. And so I don't think BYU is going to get the benefit tonight. I could see them falling all the way to 12.
It's a new thing to talk to your therapist about.
They should not fall farther than 10. They should not.
It's a new thing for us to talk to our therapists about.
Exactly.
I've got college football playoff ranking trauma.
Should Notre Dame with 2 losses be ahead of a 1-loss BYU? Yes or no?
I love it, too. It's like, you're already assigning a loss to Texas. I was like, yeah.
Uh-huh. Have you watched them play this year? Did you watch them struggle with Utah?
I think it's crazy that he's like, no, Notre Dame's that good. They could be in the national championship game again. What? All right.
Well, I'm not defending that, but I'm going to say that this is the most wide open I remember college football being when it comes to winning titles. Even Ohio State doesn't look like a juggernaut.
Okay. We'll see how this thing rolls out. You'll get that in the next, about 35 minutes or so. We'll be rolling out the next edition of these rankings here. So
and I think Texas Tech is a national championship contender.
At the very least, he makes a good point.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah, I think part of the thing the flaw maybe in Pete's argument is you're talking about a team that you feel like, well, the only way, it's not like the NCAA tournament. You can't just get hot. It's like, no, they've been hot.
They've been unbelievable all year.
Extremely good when they are healthy and
if Alabama gets a mulligan for the Florida State loss, why doesn't Texas Tech get the mulligan for the Arizona State loss on the road?
Yeah. Okay. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more around the corner. When we return, we're outside Delta Center. We've got lots going on. We'll get you updated on all sorts of things across the day. Jazz Pacers tonight, right? So we'll keep you updated on that. We got pregame.
Who's tanking harder tonight? Can't wait to find out.
I was actually shocked when you said that they were 1-9.
Yeah, Halliburton's out, and they're basically saying this season is a wash. We're going to wait till Halliburton gets healthy. Let's get a high lottery pick in one of the best drafts of this era
of our young team's lives.
This draft is unbelievable. So everybody wants to be in it.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. You know what that music means, of course. The NFL Blitz. Got the NFL stories in front of us here. But before we get into that whole thing, JJ, I got some more tickets to give away for the Jazz versus the Hawks coming up on the 13th. It's a couple days from now, of course. The Hawks and the Jazz facing off on Thursday, and I've got a pair of tickets for you right now. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. I can't just pick you right here. You got to call. You ready? 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-9663. Oh, you lost your phone? Is that what's going on? Oh, you're already going? Yeah, all right.
Good.
801-575-ZONE. This guy's over here. He's like, I forgot. I have tickets to all these games. Sorry. Oof. My bad. So win those tickets right now from us. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. 801-575-ZONE is the number to go see the Jazz and Hawks on Thursday. Okay. JJ, how about that dog of a game last night on Monday Night Football?
Woof. That was awful.
So I'm here at Delta Center, and one of my kids goes, "Hey, you got to tell me what the Monday Night Football score is." And I thought my phone was doing the thing like, it hasn't connected for a minute.
It hasn't updated. This has got to be a first quarter score, right?
3-0 at the start of the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
and I went, ugh. And I said, you know what? I'm glad we're not home watching this on a Monday Night Football. Eagles, Packers, nobody wanted to win that thing. It was ugly. In the end, was it 10-7? Yeah, 10-7 final.
10-7 final.
There you go. The Eagles get the win. That's all you need to do in this league is just get the win and get out of there. And that's what they did.
The
Tough
Packers
too.
look bad.
And they look bad, and they had an opportunity at the end, and they
couldn't even line up properly.
It was nasty. So
is Matt LaFleur in trouble?
Oh, you're going to do the hot seat discussion?
I think that's a thing in Green Bay right now.
I don't think they're there yet. They have a franchise quarterback. They are what?
Who's not playing well right now, if I'm going to be quite honest.
But what's what's their record right now? What's the Packers' record?
Where they have that tie. They're not
that tie.
They're in the
Cowboys.
mix.
So what's the NFC North look like?
So the NFC North right now, they are trailing both the Lions and the Bears. They are in third place.
That is so weird. How about the Bears being 6-3 right now?
That is what I said. The Chicago Bears, who are -8 in point differential this season, are in second place in the NFC North. And if the season ended today, if the playoffs started today, the Bears would be in. So the Packers, by virtue of that loss last night, slipped down. They're actually in that 7th spot, so they would sneak in. The 49ers at 6-4 are right behind them with that 4th loss. But that tie could be a big problem for the Packers later in the season. So the Packers now 5-3-1. After starting the season looking like one of the best teams in the league, they look nothing like it right now, and that's a team that's going the wrong direction.
Interesting. LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan, like those guys could do no wrong 18 months ago. You know what I mean?
One of them's probably missing the playoffs.
Ooh.
The 49ers right now at 6-4 would not make the playoffs.
Oh, it's a real shame. Sorry, did I say that too excitedly? I did clap when I said it. So that probably gave it
your
away.
Seahawks are in the 2 spot in the NFC right now. That's 7-2.
Look at that.
Tied for the best record in the NFC.
What are they going to get with Rashid Shaheed coming to town?
Speed in the pass game. A compliment to Jackson Smith-Njigba, who is already over 1,000 yards receiving this year.
Does he lead the league by 250 yards?
Yes, he does.
He's cleared everybody else on receiving yards by 250 yards.
Puka missing a month helped him, but his numbers are phenomenal. He has a legit chance to break the single season
almost
receiving yards.
Almost 1,100 yards in on the season.
Sam Darnold, how about that? And what a great story. I love stories like Sam Darnold.
How about doing it the last 2 years?
Everyone's
two different franchises.
Of course, everybody that goes to the Jets is a bust. That's why I still believe in Zach Wilson. Sam Darnold fighting and waiting for his opportunity, and for the last 2 seasons, he has done so. And how many Minnesota Vikings fans are like, wait a minute, maybe Sam Darnold wasn't so bad after all. Maybe we should have stuck with Sam Darnold, because this rookie is, I'm not so sure. The Vikings right now are in last place in the NFC North. Who would have thought that before the season started?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But man, the NFL is just one of those places that you never know what you're going to get.
There's not a big gap between first and last. There really
love
isn't.
it, man. I do think though. I wonder when you see the teams that are the college football playoff has given us a little bit of this where you're like, yeah, you got in, but like, have you grown up enough to actually like win a couple playoff games?
That's what matters.
What's the version of what your team is? Is it a nice story for this year?
Yeah.
Because that was the Vikings last year. That was Sam Darnold last year.
It's fair.
Hey man, awesome. But great, 14-3, and then you go to play, and then you go, and you actually knew that they weren't going to win that game against the Lions. Like you knew, it was going to be tough. So, all right, let me see here. Next up on the old NFL Blitz. How about the Jaguars and Travis Hunter, who is now going to be having surgery and missing the rest of the season? That's a tough loss to that team. Just from like a marketing standpoint too, you bring in a guy who's got all this hype. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, and for me, I'm kind of like, maybe it's better that he shuts it down because the expectations have been weird for Travis Hunter, right? It's not even just like, hey, how well are you playing? It's like, but where are you going to put him on offense? Where are you going to put him on defense? How many snaps on offense are you giving him? How many reps on defense are you giving him? And it just is so weird to watch, and I hope the kid gets some good advice and somebody tells him, you can be a really, really good defender in the NFL. You can be all pro. You can be what your adopted dad, Prime, has done, which is every once in a while you can contribute on offense. You don't need to make it like I'm part of the offense.
Yeah.
Make it to where you go, I'm a phenomenal. Look what the Utes are doing with Smith Snowden.
Yeah.
They go, hey, let's put you in the NFL as a defender. Let's not worry about this stuff here. Let Daniel Bray take the end around. Let him do the jet sweep.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You don't need to be that guy. By the way, there's enough talent in the NFL. And there's even enough talent on that Jaguars team.
You don't need to go both ways in the NFL.
Please
it's just not necessary.
You don't have to do it. So
6 months out.
That's crazy.
With the LCL recovery.
Hey, and then you have to question, well, if he was playing that much, would that injury have
just a bummer that a dynamic player like that in a rookie season doesn't get to show us what he's doing. And the Jags right now are a team that's struggling after a great start.
Let me ask you this. Are we seriously talking about the idea of Bill Belichick being the coach?
I hope not.
Of the freaking New York Giants?
Why do we do this every year?
My favorite thing about today is that Bill Belichick gave us we're moving on to Wake Forest.
I know.
Moving on to Wake Forest. Excuse you?
He's trying to go to a bowl game right now.
Moving on to the Demon Deacons.
Wins in 2 of their last 3 games, and he goes bowling.
I watched a video of him walking off of the field, and Jordan Hudson slides in next to him and is like, good job, honey.
Oh, my
And you're like, oh, get her out of here. But you know what? What's crazy about this is like, you think about amazing opportunities that Bill Belichick could get back in the league, maybe coaching the Giants. And by the way, it's a franchise he's got history with, right?
Sure, yeah.
I don't know how good it is in terms of like their relationship. Who knows? I don't know if anybody has a good relationship with Bill Belichick anymore. But like him walking in there, like Jordan Hudson's probably working on him being like, wouldn't it be like fun to live in New York or whatever?
Oh, my gosh.
You know that conversation's happening.
Sure.
You know.
Well, Belichick wants to be back. It's not a question of that. It's whether the Giants want to pull the trigger on a 70-plus-year-old coach that isn't even winning in the college level now.
No,
like,
and
I just feel like in the last few years of Bill Belichick in New England weren't great. He's the GOAT of coaching. I mean, nobody has as many Super Bowls as him. But everybody has that moment in time where it's time to move on, and the dude needs to move on.
You're dating a 26-year-old. You're coaching a college team, barely. You're getting paid.
Yeah.
Let's ride off into the old sunset here, all right?
Yeah. Dude could build his own island like Reggie Bullock did. Like, just go build your own island. Just spend your day on a jet ski out in the ocean. Enjoy your life.
My favorite quote from Dan Campbell is, I think they're getting ready to play Philadelphia, right, this next week?
Yes, on Monday Night Football.
No,
it's
Sunday Night Football.
Oh,
This
it's on KSL and NBC.
On NBC. My favorite thing that Dan Campbell said this week was this. Dan Campbell says, Philly fans, they throw batteries, they spit on us when we come out. It's an amazing place to play. If there's going to be a guy who likes to get batteries hitting him on the – I
love it.
By the way, you know what that sound is like. You remember when your coach would hit you on the head and be like, good job, and his wedding ring would like hit the top of the helmet, and you may as well have been hit by lightning. It's so freaking loud in your helmet. Imagine getting hit with those batteries on the top of the helmet. That'll wake you up.
Yeah, it would.
It's like some weird version of smelling salts. Get you ready for the game.
It's not as cool as the piss bags in Laramie. Batteries are cool.
it got worked into the show today.
We did it.
We did?
There
we
are.
did it, Alex.
Yeah, we did.
You and I.
You know what?
It's JJ and
Hey,
Alex.
look at us. Who'd have thunk it?
Who would have thought we've been saying that today? All right.
Look at us.
We'll take another break. We'll come back. I've got a top 10 here for you, a Veterans Day edition of Top 10. Stay right here with us. More to go. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies head south to Las Vegas for a Saturday afternoon showdown against UNLV. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen, thank you for being with us on the program. On a Veterans Day, by the way, I wanted to say, hey, I've got veterans on both sides of my family. My wife, I still can't believe sometimes, like, the connection that we have to people who have been part of, like, changing the world, you know what I mean? World War II veterans, POWs in my family. My dad was a Marine. I think about all the people who did so much so that I don't have to sign up, right? And unless I can do this job and I could say, you know what, like, and we just have, and, we live really close to Hill Air Force Base, too. I get to see those F-35s every day. And I just go, man, we live in quite an amazing place. And so love our veterans, love the people who are active military serving right now, too. So would be remiss without mentioning
100%
how big of a deal it is that those people in our lives. But our top 10 is military-based.
Okay.
And I've got for you the top 10 box office for military films ever.
Okay.
All right? And these are the ones that have done the best. And I've got it right in front of me here. And Annapolis, I made the mistake of sharing too much with Annapolis, our producer, because I think that I gave away a few too many of these. And so these are the highest grossing war movies, military movies, whatever they might be. And no, I decided, even though I had to take out number 5 on the list, because they technically said, well, which one was it? Annapolis? It was the it was Captain America. Captain America.
They're called Captain America, a war movie?
Captain America, yeah, because in the beginning he's like,
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and look, there's some definite fictions in here, but some of them are, kind of based around all those. So I've got in front of me the ultimate list of box office killers across the board. Here we go. On your mark. Get set. Go.
Saving Private Ryan.
Ding.
Platoon.
Ding.
Pearl Harbor.
Ho. Ding.
Okay. It's not a great movie.
No, but it made a lot of money. I'll tell you.
Where's my brain at here? More war movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Where do I go next?
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk's
a great one.
There you go.
The one with Brad Pitt in it. When they're isn't it a Quentin Tarantino movie? What's
Inglourious
Bastards.
You got it. The way it's spelled is not
a
cuss word, so you've got it.
Well, you can say bastard on the radio, can't you?
You're doing it.
Sorry, folks. Apologize.
Bunch of kids walk by, moms covering their ears.
A movie.
All right. What else?
Okay, what else do we got? Help me out, Annapolis. My brain is. Oh.
Ding. Hacksaw Ridge, yes.
Oh, Glory. Civil War.
But
what?
Great pull.
No.
Not one of the highest grossing, but great pull.
Really? I'm out of time?
Oh,
my brain left me there for a moment. I think I got some good ones, but I'm surprised Glory's not on.
Lost one of didn't get one of the biggest ones, though.
What is the biggest one?
Schindler's List.
I don't think of that as a war movie, but you're right.
Oh, yes. Let me see here, too. Full Metal Jacket snuck in the top 10.
I should have pulled. Yeah, that's a good pull.
Das Boot.
What?
Yeah, it's a German U-boat movie.
What?
Das Boot.
Das Boot?
Yeah.
This is top 10?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, you set me up.
Now,
I thought I was never going to get
outside
Das
of
Boot.
I know. Outside of the top 10, and I don't look at it like, wow, what great military strategy, but There's a lot of war going on in there. But again, not in the traditional sense of like veterans and things like that. Braveheart. Also, now
Braveheart's on the list.
It's on. It's 13th, and so it's not on the top 10. But I thought it was funny that they.
I guess technically it's
that they brought it up. Patton on the list as well.
What's the Mel Gibson Revolutionary War one?
It's not on the list, but I know which one you're talking about. Patriot, yes, not on the list, but yes, it's right there. So, and then 1917, one of the more new it was like one of the more new kind of well done, super well shot. Like Dunkirk in 1917. If you haven't seen those,
Dunkirk's amazing.
Cinematography like masterpieces. So there you go. There's our top 10.
I did okay.
You did pretty darn
good. I felt
good.
like I could have done better.
Yeah.
I didn't get Das Boot.
Das Boot. Listen, I thought that it was a good effort. So there you go. All right, we'll take a break. There's your top 10 for today. Before we get out, I want to mention around the corner, we've got to get to the rankings. The college football rankings are going to be coming out in just a little bit here. We're going to get those right to you, and we're going to have those as it happens. We're going to roll those out. We've also got Jazz coming up at the top of the 6 o'clock hour, so 1 hour away from pregame. And before we get you out, though, Hercules Hero of the Week program. Something we do every week. You can nominate a Hercules Hero of the Week by just going to KSLSports.com/contest, and then we pick a winner that's been nominated by you, the listener out there, for somebody who does an awesome job in the youth sports in your area. Just go to KSLSports.com/contest, and those winners receive a prize every week from the folks at Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More to go. College football playoff rankings are going to be rolled out next right here at 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars return home for a battle against TCU. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Woo!
Welcome back. Welcome back. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. You're hearing us react live to the initial college football playoff rankings of week number 2 as we listen to it right now. So Iowa is 21. Is that what the latest is there? Let's start from 25 here, where Cincinnati
Louisville comes in at 20.
That's right. So Cincinnati, for those of you just tuning in right now, is 25. South Florida, 24. Tennessee at 23. Pitt goes up to 22. And then Iowa goes from 20 down to 21 for that beautiful loss against
quality loss.
Oregon this past week. Very quality. And then Louisville is at 20. That's where we sit right now with the rankings rolling out here. Let's kick off the program officially, though, as we get these college football playoff ranking reactions. Right now, it is the top of the hour. That means we're getting to the cut right now.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program, TRAJANwealth.com, for all your trusted local needs in retirement. So as we start to watch this thing count down, the most recent ones that are put up there, Louisville is now 20. They moved down 5 spots. Virginia moves down 5 spots as well. They were previously the highest-ranked ACC team. They moved down from 14 down to 19.
Michigan has moved up 3 spots. They are the number 18 team in the college football playoff.
2-loss Michigan at number 18 on this list as well. And so, and if you're a big fan of the Big Ten, then you're also rejoicing in USC, who's moved up to 17, 2 spots in the rankings this week for the Trojans and Lincoln Riley, who their destiny's right in front of them. It's a 7-2 team. Right now, if you've got 2 losses and you're in a big conference, you're going to be put up there a little bit further than most. Now, we wondered where Georgia Tech was going to be this week when this thing rolled out, and I think you and I were going back and forth between 14 and 15. Turns out the Yellow Jackets, after a bye week, moved down one spot from
up one spot.
Sorry, moved up for one spot
up
from
17, yes.
Up to 16. So they are going to be 16th. So I guess that settles whether or not we think they're going to be 14 or 15. The Miami Hurricanes are now the highest-ranked ACC team at 15 in the country. So there's your
That's a move of 3 spots.
That's a surprise to me.
Well, they obliterated Syracuse, so you got to give them credit for that.
Do you?
I'm joking.
I'm joking. So the 15th ranked Miami Hurricanes coming in. And again, 7-2 team. If you're in a 7-2 spot, they moved up 3 spots from last week after that win over Syracuse over the weekend. And I don't know. The Vanderbilt Commodores weigh in at number 14. They've moved up. They moved up 2 spots with their overtime win over Auburn this weekend. And so Vandy finds themselves earning their way back into some of that conversation, but they're now at 14. I think you had them at 14, right?
I said they would be
rankings that we were going to be
the
at.
team butted up next to where Utah was at 13. Let's see where Utah falls.
Now we're going to see where Utah is,
They stay put.
Utah does officially stay at number 13 in the college football playoff rankings. So that's where they are going to be, and I think we're going to anticipate maybe a BYU being put there next in these in the next. We'll see, because we've heard
Does BYU fall to 12?
Do they have enough to make an argument to be ahead of some of these teams? And now they are.
I told you they would do this. The committee has dropped BYU all the way to number 12 from 7.
So the Cougs are number 12.
They lost on the road to Texas Tech, and they dropped 5 spots.
So the interesting thing about that is they have these discussions. Okay, so who's at 13? Well, do you put BYU there? No, they beat Utah. Okay, so Utah goes there. And so then they had to have a conversation. Well, they're not better than number 11 Oklahoma, which is where they put Oklahoma, is number 11.
2-loss Oklahoma.
2-loss Oklahoma at number 11. BYU goes to 12 and Utah at 13, which means your Texas Longhorns, who we've been wondering where they were going to be, are likely going to be at least 10. So it's going to be probably a Notre Dame-Texas toggle probably between those two. And as it now gets rolled out here for you live, we still haven't gotten the word on anything ahead of Oklahoma yet.
They haven't revealed the top 10 yet.
So the top 10, I don't know if they're going to go to a break right now, but that's where your top 11 right now is. Oh, Texas is number 10?
There you go. They just
revealed
Texas
number 10. So Texas is your number 10 in this week's college football playoff rankings. Oklahoma 11. Both of those SEC teams with 2 losses. Both of them with a very, very difficult road ahead of them, because I think Texas still has to play Texas A&M and Alabama.
Yes,
right?
Correct.
Oklahoma has to play, I think, at least Georgia, right? At Georgia, I think, if I wasn't mistaken. So that's going to be a tough one for them as well.
So no, Oklahoma's at Alabama.
Oh, that's what
they've got. Missouri, and then they got LSU.
And then Texas has got their schedule. I mean, might have a couple of losses
Texas is
built in.
at Georgia. They don't play Alabama. They're at Georgia, Arkansas, Texas A&M at home to end the season.
Yeah, that's what it is. The A&M game and the Georgia game on the road for Texas, and so that's going to be tough as well. Number 9, we knew this was going to happen. We told you to prepare yourselves. 2-loss Notre Dame is number 9 in the college football playoff rankings. So you've got 3 teams in a row, 9, 10, and 11, all 2 losses, but quality losses, JJ. We've heard this quite a bit. Oregon weighs in at number 8 on this week's ranking. And obviously they wouldn't fall. I don't think they were going to fall further than Notre Dame would be, and they wanted to have Notre Dame at 9. And so Oregon goes to that number 8 spot as these rankings keep coming in. I haven't been really surprised by much. I know that we prepared people for the idea that BYU would be 12, just ahead of Utah at 13. They kept Utah at 13. They did put BYU at 12. And now the number 7 team in the country.
Oh, my.
Ole Miss falls all the way.
Texas Tech has made a jump
to number 7, which means that Texas Tech,
and they deserve it,
is probably going to go up further than we had initially thought. And we had that discussion, too. We said, okay, is it a 1-loss Ole Miss team against Georgia? Are their wins good enough? Was their loss against Georgia good enough to put up against that win? And now they have Texas Tech at number 6 in the college football playoff ranking, week number 2. So Ole Miss gets jumped, interestingly enough. I wonder what that conversation looked like, and I'm sure that's going to be one of the things. The media asks questions after these rankings come out, and they're able to ask questions, and that's going to certainly be one that they're going to go, okay, so what did you see with that Texas Tech team that made it to where, like, hey, big, huge win over BYU, a BYU team that they have docked 5 slots with their first win or with their first loss of the season. So Texas Tech has moved up 2 slots after the win over BYU in dominant fashion. They go from 8 to number 6 in the playoff rankings.
I like it because if you look at Ole Miss's schedule,
a little bit weaker.
They thought they had that great win against LSU. Turns out LSU's not as good as they were, or they thought they were. They only beat Washington State by 3 on their home field. The metrics aren't going to like that. They lost to Georgia. They did beat Oklahoma by 8 in Norman, which is a great win. But Texas Tech has 2 wins over top 13 teams, and not just wins. They blew out both BYU and Utah. And the metrics love them because of the amount of how big they and how much they've absolutely annihilated everybody.
So 5 through 3 we have revealed. We wondered there wasn't going to be a lot of movement. We knew that Georgia would likely be number 5, and they are. Number 4 is Alabama. And then at number 3, this answers the question of whether or not it was going to be Indiana or Texas A&M at 2 and 3. And Texas A&M gets slotted into that 3 spot, and Indiana has now been rolled out officially as the number 2 seed. And now that leaves room for only the Ohio State University, who is, officially rolled out now on the broadcast as the number 1 seed. So your 1, 2, 3, 4s go like Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Alabama. If it were to start now, the first teams out would be Oklahoma and BYU, according to this metric. So those would be the first teams that would be out of this year's college football playoff because you slot in a number 24 ranked South Florida team. Miami has snuck far enough up and, of course, is looked at as that team who would be the ACC champion. They've been slotted in right there. Texas would be your 10 seed. They would be they'd be up on the list. Notre Dame would be in. Oregon would be in. Ole Miss would be in. Texas Tech would, of course, be in, and they'd be the only representative from the Big 12 if it were to go down this way. Georgia at 5, Alabama at 4, like I said, Texas A&M 3, Indiana 2, and Ohio State 1. So Ohio State would be hosting, so would Alabama, so would Texas A&M, and so would Indiana. And the first round games would be hosted by Georgia at that 5 seed. Number 8, Oregon, who last week was on the road in their first round here. And then Texas Tech as the Big 12 champion and as a 6 seed in this scenario would be also hosting a first-round game, and so would Ole Miss. And then the way it would shake out that way is Georgia would be hosting South Florida. Notre Dame would go to Oregon to play at Autzen and Dan Landing's team there. Miami would have to travel to a very tough Texas Tech in Lubbock. And then Texas would travel to Ole Miss for a chance to take on Indiana in that next round. So there's your top 25, and there's your college football playoff rankings. JJ, I'd love to say that we're surprised by any of this, but I would say a lot of folks, because in this scenario, the first 2 teams out are Oklahoma and BYU, and you have to wonder if BYU were that 10 seed instead of because
this is significant as far as BYU goes.
Instead of Texas, if Texas is that number 10
for
seed,
the Big 12,
it makes a big difference. And so you're going to see now Utah and BYU. I think BYU, they certainly have the ability to be able to win out. They still have a couple tough games ahead of them. Of course, TCU's not going to be a joke this weekend. Sonny Dykes is going to have his guys dialed up coming to Provo, but they also have to go on the road to Cincinnati. Then they finish things off Thanksgiving weekend against UCF. Utah has the road right in front of them to be able to keeping on with what they've been doing recently.
They've got to move up 3 spots by the end of this.
Can they do it? Can you? Because I think you can build in a loss for Oklahoma, and you can build in a loss for Texas. The question is, will the committee have Texas slide past a BYU team and maybe even a Utah team? Now, where does Vanderbilt go? Vanderbilt's one of these interesting teams, JJ, that will not be an SEC championship appearance type team. But if they continue to win and they win out and they're 10 and 2,
10-2 as well.
Could they be one of these number 10, number 11s that they would have to have a discussion about whether or not they should be in front of a second Big 12 team? So it gets interesting week after week. But to have Utah and BYU right next to each other in the college football playoff rankings this second go-around here at 13 and 12. Still pretty good news for the local teams here because they have their destinies in front of them. A lot has to be decided for them. Now, obviously, if BYU is able to get to win out and then go to the Big 12 championship game, and then if they beat Texas Tech, obviously, then that solves that problem for them. And I think a Texas Tech team, it would be hard to make an argument to not put a team like that in the college football playoff with one of their losses coming to a team that had also beaten them or that was also ranked higher than them. If that were the case, I think that they also have enough going for them that people look and they go, they're on a different level, which is what the college football playoff committee looks at.
Absolutely. I think Texas Tech, they have them at 6 right now. We'll see how it all shakes out. If they win out, I think they should be one of the top 4s.
They could be that number 3
I think they
spot.
deserve a bye.
Yeah.
And I think you could make a case for a bye for them at that point over some of the teams that are in the top.
Let's say
I think that we'll see how it all plays out.
Let's say that you have Texas A&M who goes to the SEC championship game, and then they take a loss to an Alabama
or
team.
Georgia.
So would they slide behind a Texas Tech team to go into that 4th spot? I think it doesn't matter if you're the 3 or the 4 if you're Texas Tech, because you're getting a first-round bye that you deserve, and you're playing a second-round opponent that's either going to be, a winner out of that 10-7 game or a winner out of that 8-9 game. And so I think that either way, they're in the catbird seat, the proverbial catbird seat, getting ready for this playoff. Again, it's disappointing that you would see a slide, I think, as big as you saw with the BYU team, but it's not shocking because we've seen this before. And by the way, the committee, I know that they have to reset these rankings and go back and forth. Okay, who's got a better resume, Notre Dame or BYU, Texas or BYU? But the reality is that I think that there is part of the committee that goes, oh, yeah, we saw this BYU team do this last year. Yeah, they went 8-0, 9-0 in the case of last year. They lose a game. After they lose their first game, then they lose another game. And so whether or not that's going to happen, that's got to be up to BYU. That's where they can control their own destiny for sure.
Yeah, and I look at Utah, and if you're a Utah fan, you need Utah to just be their best like they have the last 2 weeks and just absolutely crush the last 3 teams on their schedule. And they have to crush them. They can't have these, come-from-behind rallies against Kansas and Kansas State. And Baylor, I'm sorry. If you want to be in the top 10, we talked about it.
Yep.
Are you a top 10 team? That's what's required to be in the college football playoff. You got to boat race those teams.
Can they do what they've done in the last
You have to continue to crush. If they do, you need Notre Dame to lose to Pitt. You need Texas to lose at least one of those games between Texas A&M and Georgia. You need Alabama to beat Oklahoma. And you need Oregon to lose to USC. At that point, Utah, without getting to the Big 12 championship game, could absolutely find themselves in the college football playoff. And that's the best case scenario for the Big 12. This is disappointing for the Big 12 because you had Texas Tech and BYU in a top 10 matchup on national TV at number 6 and number 7. And now, on this Tuesday, there's only one Big 12 team in the college football playoff bracket right now. And that's got to be frustrating. BYU dropping 5 spots, I think it's too much. They should have stopped at 10. If you want to put one of those teams that's at Notre Dame, you want to slide Notre Dame up to 9, that's fine. How is a 2-loss Texas team that lost to Florida ahead of BYU right now?
It's
what's the logic there?
So yes,
it just means more.
Well, I
Oklahoma as well. I don't get it.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do the back and forth, and they go, "Yeah, look,
winning games should matter." And I know they're in the SEC. I know who they lost to. I get all that.
And so they obviously look and they say, "Look, who did BYU go and
What's
defeat?
knocking BYU right now? Is it the offense? Is it the come from behind wins? What is causing the committee to say in 1 week's time after losing to a top 10 team on the road? And I get it, they got blown out.
Yeah, and that's what I think what it was. It wasn't just a blowout. It was also just kind of seeing the team and going, so now that's supposed to be a playoff contending team?
How many plays did they have in Texas Tech territory on Saturday?
Yeah.
I get it. BYU's offense was not good on Saturday. But a 5-spot drop? If Ole Miss lost to Alabama, would they drop 5 spots? Would they?
I don't know.
What's the stand? Why is BYU dropping 5 spots? seems like a long drop for somebody who was in the top 10 last week.
Well, you can't make an apples-to-apples comparison with a team like Texas. You can't make an apples-to-apples comparison, but they can make an apples-to-apples comparison with Oklahoma, even though Oklahoma has had a different schedule than Texas. But they lost to Texas head-to-head, and so then they go, oh, well, look at those two teams. Like, those two teams are
that's why BYU's ahead of Utah right now. BYU beat Utah, therefore it's 12 and 13.
And so in the case of the two-loss teams that are in front of the 3 2-loss teams that are in front of BYU, Notre Dame, Texas, and Oklahoma. I mean, I think it's safe to say Notre Dame is. I think it's safe to say Notre Dame is going to stay in that place. But I think the good news is there's just no freaking way that Texas team does not look good. They're going to lose one of those last games, either to Texas A&M or to Georgia, right? And in the case of Oklahoma, they're going to either lose to Alabama or I don't see them losing to LSU, but crazier things have happened, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
So this is there's just so much on the table here.
How did a BYU team, Alex, that lost to the 6th-ranked team in the country, their only losses to the 6th-ranked team in the country, on the road, fall 5 spots after that loss? If the committee didn't think that much of BYU, then why were they 7 in the first place?
So I think it's a little bit of not thinking much of the Big 12 except for.
But they certainly thought a lot of the Big 12 last week.
And then I think there's a little bit of an idea, and tell me if you think this is too much of a conspiracy thought, but I think people still have a hard time imagining BYU being something outside of the G5 a little bit.
Oh, for sure. They're probably looking at him like they look at a South Florida or a James Madison, which is disrespectful.
Right. Oh, of course. Of course.
How many games has BYU won in the last 2 years in the Big 12?
Yeah, they're 21-3.
That's a ridiculous record over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So, there you go.
No respect for BYU, certainly with this result. I saw it coming, and now it's happened. I'm like, that it doesn't make any sense. 10 would have made sense to me.
Okay.
Not 12.
It is good that you're going to be able to see both of these teams, I think, hanging out right next to each other in the rankings until the very, very, very end of the year, right? I mean, that's what's really going to be happening. So
we can definitely see what the committee is doing, right? We can see it now.
Yeah.
It's clear.
Okay. Let's take another break. We'll come back. We've got more around the corner. We'll keep talking about some college football playoff implications now that we have enough of this to digest a little bit. I'm interested to see what the committee does say about, why they put one team over the other, or why. I think, again, some of the conversations that they're probably going to have and actually have an answer for is, okay, so why did BYU tumble a little bit further in the rankings? Why are Texas and Oklahoma ahead of a one-loss BYU team, and their one loss is to Texas Tech? And so that'll be something they have to answer to. And then why did Ole Miss drop the 2 spots, or why did Ole Miss drop underneath Texas Tech? What did Texas Tech do aside from beating BYU that they docked 5 slots for losing? What was it about what Texas Tech has done that allows them to leap ahead all the way up to 6 from 8?
You just crushed the 7th-ranked team in the country.
Yeah.
You crushed them.
I'm sure that's going to be what they say, but then Ole Miss will probably go, why did we fall again? We didn't lose this weekend, So we'll see. All right. Cougars dropped 5 spots in the college football playoff ranking. They go from 7 all the way down to 12 with that loss against Texas Tech this weekend. Like I said, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about that a little bit more and much more as we get you ready for the Jazz and the Indiana Pacers. Folks milling about out here, waiting for the doors to open at Delta Center. Stay here with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes hit the road to Waco for a showdown against Baylor. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Doors have just opened here at Delta Center as fans pour into the fan store. I'm assuming, JJ, to be able to pick up the
Mammoth jerseys.
I see what you did there. No, the new city edition.
Yeah, the immersion jerseys for sale tonight.
You keep calling them immersion. It's inversion, right?
I'm joking. They actually, I think that when we see the players wearing them tonight, it's going to look really nice.
Well, I'll tell you, they last night at the game, they were like, hey, by the way, tomorrow, these are going on sale. And they put it up on the screen, and my kids are like, those are so cool.
So there you go. That's all that matters.
I think they could have put up anything on the screen, and my kids would have said they were so cool. Like, we're the only ones who get all grumpy about it, right? The old guys?
Well, yeah, because I want them to just wear the old Jazz jerseys from the 80s.
Give me all the Pete Maraviches you can handle, bro.
Come
on.
I'm not. I don't. My opinion doesn't matter. But
all right. Well, I've got Jazz tickets to give away. All you have to do is give us a call right now. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-9663. 801-575-ZONE. You get yourself a pair of tickets. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. The Jazz versus the Hawks coming up on Thursday here at Delta Center. Don't want to miss it, so you can win those tickets right now, 801-575-ZONE. We've given away 3 pair of these Jazz Ticket Tuesday tickets, and you can go to the game on Thursday versus the Hawks with just a caller number 12 right now to our producer, Alex Napoles, 801-575-ZONE. All right, let me see here. JJ, before we get into some of the Jazz stuff I want to get to, because we have an updated – we have an updated. It looks like Kevin Love is going to be out with rest. That's got to be something that was talked about beforehand, right? Like in the season, where they go, "Hey, you're coming into Utah," and he goes, "Yeah, my agent wants to talk to you about that." And the agent's like, "He's not playing any back-to-backs, bro." And you go, "Okay, cool,
that's cool."
He's got that lower back soreness. We don't want to have him get hit with that. Taylor Hendricks continues to be out with the right hamstring soreness, and then Kyle Anderson with the lower back soreness as well, also out. So there you go. On top of the other folks who, of course, are still out as well. So those are the names for tonight's injury list. Now, reaction so far. What has it been like? I immediately went to social media to see what the people's reactions were about these college football playoff rankings, and I think that the good news is this. There's so much football still left to be played, right?
Yeah.
There's still so much, and especially in a very, very difficult SEC, that I say that because you have pretty high-ranked teams that are all playing one another over the next 3 weeks. BYU's got to beat a ranked Cincinnati team at Cincinnati. They've got to beat TCU, who comes into their place this weekend. And, what that bounce back is going to be like. How does the team do with that compared to last year? How can you come back from what was a devastating loss and could have been season-changing and season-making in that moment? But you can still control your own destiny and win out and get yourself to the Big 12 championship game. And then from there, the sky is the limit. But so far, the reactions with the college football playoff ranking have been Notre Dame being up pretty high at number 9. And then also, I was reading to you the transcripts. The closed captioning was coming across my screen as they were asking Mack Rhodes, who's the this year's commissioner of the College Football Playoff Committee. He's also, or the committee chair, or whatever they call him. He has to kind of answer the tough questions to Reese Davis, who was asking him right afterwards. So why do you think Miami should have jumped up as far as they did? Well, they have that win over Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's really good, man. You know how good Notre Dame is. It's like, no, tell me. We're like, oh, we think they're really good. But Mack Rhodes was interesting because he started to talk about the offense of Texas Tech and how they just haven't been that impressive so far this year, and or in the last couple of weeks. I don't know.
You know how good Utah and BYU's defense is. They put 34 and 29 on them.
JJ, the thing that's crazy about that is that they are blowing teams out better than anybody in the country. They before this last weekend had scored 40-plus points in the previous 6 games. They are scoring a ton. They're getting a lot. And by the way, they're more importantly on an offensive side of things, they're just controlling the ball, and they're just pushing everybody around and going, yeah, we'll have the ball as long as we want it. And we'll score quick or we'll take a while to score. So to me, that was kind of a shock to see Mack Rhodes go, yeah, and I just think Baron Morton, he's been on that bad leg, and, we'll see how that goes with them. But their offense hasn't been, as explosive as we've seen in the past. And I'm going, what are they seeing in front of them in the rankings?
They're not. They're overrating the SEC, number one. So if you did this exercise, you say, okay, I'm going to look at Texas Tech versus everybody that's in front of them and pick who's going to win. Do you know how far I'd get before I pick Texas Tech to lose? Ohio State at number one.
Yeah, probably.
I think that highly of Texas Tech. I think they're that good. I think
Texas Tech beats Texas.
You think Indiana struggling at Penn State or something? What would Indiana do in Lubbock against that team?
Now listen, I don't want to bet against Mendoza because I think he's a really, really good quarterback. And obviously, you're not going to get you have games like the game they have against Penn State. You're going to have games like that.
How does Indiana score against that Texas Tech front? How?
I know how
that's
Ohio
why I like
State
these,
can That's
do
why
it.
I like playing these games.
They got Jeremiah Smith.
We have no idea, right? But we have no idea what
having
these
a great year.
really
I
are.
get it. They have a front that matches.
It's so hard to figure it out.
I know, but if I was just picking straight up in games, Ohio State's the only team I would pick to beat Texas Tech.
Okay.
That's how high I think of them, and they're looking at Texas Tech like, they're not as good as those other teams. I don't know. Would Texas Tech finish fourth in the SEC? That's what they're saying. Because you got Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia ahead of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Texas nipping at the heels.
Right.
And Ole Miss, too.
And Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Crazy. That's a lot of SEC teams.
They did say that they're better than Ole Miss, which I'd agree with. I feel like you could continue to do that. Texas Tech, I would have them at fourth right now.
What's crazy is that they're not wrong with the Big Ten right now, which is you kind of only have 3 teams in. And that means and look, when it comes to the head-to-head, like 4 SEC teams and 4 Big Ten teams, that's actually not the reality here. I mean, last year you had 3 SEC teams get in. Like that was
Alabama got left out.
Alabama got left out, and they probably deserved to be. They lost games when they shouldn't have, right? And
they lost 3 games.
Right. And losing those 3 games. And now on the flip side, you've got Texas that people are looking at and they go, yeah, they could be a 3-loss team sneaking in this year. Man, we don't want to let just another, one of these teams get in. Like I guarantee they lament the SMU pick from last year. It felt weird. They lost the conference championship game, and not only that, there were other 11-2 teams, BYU chief among them, that probably could have made the argument of them being there at that spot before they were, right? And so they don't want an SMU-type team, not just as an ACC team. They don't want a weak team getting in that they could go, well, not only is that a weaker team, but we can put a bigger brand in. If you think that doesn't matter, then of course you're like, it matters. It absolutely matters.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It's interesting. I feel bad for BYU. The ultimate thing, though, with BYU is, and BYU fans listening, you should be upset and disrespected by the rankings today. They still have everything in front of them, and all they have to do is win. They control their own destiny with the college football playoff. But unfortunately, if they don't win that Big 12 championship game rematch against Texas Tech, and they're at 11-2, and these other teams don't lose like we're talking about, they'd be on the outside looking in at 11-2, and that seems ridiculous. It seems ridiculous, but that's kind of where things are set up right now, and that's what the committee's telling us is Notre Dame with 2 losses, Texas and Oklahoma with 2 losses are better than BYU at 1 loss. And I don't agree with that based on just 1 loss, 1 game, 1 performance. Are we going to judge Texas based on their performance against Florida? Why are we not judging Notre Dame's performance against Miami? Right? Miami's ranked they're a 2-loss team. Notre Dame lost to them. So those things should matter. Those should be looked at, but they're not right now. It's about what have you done lately. And I think this is another thing, Alex, that we need to pay attention to with this. This is now the second year of the Big 12, it's the second year of the 12-team playoff, is they're punishing losses late in the season more than they're punishing losses early in the season. BYU once again getting punished for a late loss, no matter who it is to, no matter how it goes down. And a team like Notre Dame, their 2 losses are forgotten and forgiven. It's weird. I don't understand that. I guess it's about playing. It's kind of like the NCAA tournament, I guess. But for BYU, I just win. You have this fuel now. You have this fuel. You can't have the letdown this week against TCU. You got to go prove to them that you deserve a better ranking, and you can do that.
Let's take a break. We'll come back, our final break here, because we're going to get you ready for the Jazz, a pregame coming up here at the top of the hour. And we're also going to get you tip-off at 7 o'clock, your radio home of the Utah Jazz 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. More to go. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen, thanks for being with us on the program. Best and Worst brought to you by the good folks at the Doug Smith brand of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. JJ, it's another one in the books here for us because we got the Jazz and the Pacers coming up tonight. I think just as big of a deal as, a back-to-back there. The only thing I can go off of is watching that game last night. I saw so many good things out of this young team, and especially Keontae George, who's been the story of the team this year.
Yeah, Keontae's having a great season. They're shorthanded tonight, but you're going to get a chance to watch the continued development of the rookie who had a great night last night. I think the Jazz get a win tonight over the Pacers, and it's going to be fun watching these young guys.
Hey, by way of announcement, JJ and I are going to be at RGS Exteriors tomorrow. You can listen to us then. So for JJ, for Connor, for Cammie, and our producer Alex, we say adieu. We'll see you next time. 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.